Good morning, Willie Briscoe, Hope Leadership Academy, serving fatherless youth here in San Diego alongside North Coast Calvary Chapel. Just like to welcome you this morning to Daily Hope. Just share a little verse that I was given this morning, and it's Hebrews 12:2. Hebrews 12:2 is going to talk a little bit about persecution, about faith, about the sacrifice that Jesus made for us on the cross, and kind of how should we walk through this life? How should we overcome adversity and really focus on the life that He's provided for us? So let's read Hebrews 12:2 really quickly here. Fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. So the context here in Romans 12:2 is the writer of Hebrews is coming out of chapter 11, the Hall of Faith, where many of our giants of the Bible, their stories being told about the obstacles of faith and overcoming death, and sometimes not overcoming death, but succumbing to death. Their faith endured and their faith survived. And so in the beginning of verse 12, the writer from Hebrews is painting this picture, and he's making this statement that because of these witnesses, we're surrounded by these witnesses that live these lives of faith. How then shall we, how should we live our walk? How should we go through the similar trials and challenges that being a believer today or even in biblical times would have gone through? And the first thing that the writer tells us to do is to fix our eyes. And we immediately think our physical eyes, but I think the writer is talking about the eyes of faith. Like it takes faith to fix your eyes on something that's invisible, to believe in something that's not there. And so the writer is challenging us to fix our eyes on Jesus, to spiritually and by faith fix our eyes on Jesus. And then the next phrase that he focuses on is the author and finisher in some versions of that scripture. In NIV, it says the pioneer and perfecter of faith. And that's an important term there, because what it shows is that it's Jesus that started our faith, and it's Jesus that will complete it. We didn't go looking for Jesus. Jesus came looking for us, and we are not going to perfect ourselves on our own. Jesus is going to perfect our faith in us. Our job is to stand. Sometimes our job is to fix our eyes on the one who went to the cross and died for us. Thirdly, it talks about for the joy that was set before him. And to me, that's one of the most beautiful things about this passage. It's the most beautiful thing about the story of Jesus in the Bible, is that joy that was set before him, that joy is me, and that's you. Throughout time and eternity, God was able to look down and say, Jesus was able to look down and say, I know what I get in eternity by dying for Willie, for Sam, for Joanne. I know what I get, and I'm willing to go to the cross. I'm willing to actually be put to shame, the shameful death of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. I'm willing to be put to shame for Jesus. And that's a pretty sobering question. Are you willing to be put to shame for Jesus? He's willing to be put to shame for you. He's willing to be put to shame for me. That's a pretty convicting question in times that I shy away from my relationship with Jesus in a crowd or in a situation where I don't want to be seen as a Jesus freak. But Jesus literally was put to shame and killed for the joy that was set before him. And the bottom line of all this is that he sits down next to the Father, and we will worship him at that throne. So whatever you're going through today, I encourage you, it's a trial of faith, is to fix your eyes on Jesus, to remember that he died for you because he loves you, to remember that he was willing to be put to shame, to be able to call you son and be able to call you daughter. And that love, I pray that that love encourages you in your faith, that you can overcome these challenges. And like the other men and women of the Hebrews 11, that we will have an overcoming faith, that if God was writing the Bible still today, our names would be next to his. So I thank you for this time, and I ask that, pray that you just have a wonderful day in Jesus.